Wichita University. My name is Mike Torkos, and this is assignment 3, a podcast on cyberbullying for Dr. Lamar Brown's 60/20 Information and Teaching and Education class. Technology has certainly changed the way we look at the world in much less than a generation. I think some of the side effects of technology are totally unexpected, and one of the biggest negatives created by technology is all kinds of cyberbullying. However, as I've gone through this unit, I've noticed that there's also a lot of opportunities present uh, because of technology to address all types of bullying. The negative thing about cyberbullying I saw was the best illustration was an article that's in several places on the internet under several different headings. A teacher uses two apples to explain bullying to her class. Basically, the teacher takes two identical apples, repeatedly drops one to the ground, and leaves the other one just on the desk. When she puts the second apple back on the desk after bouncing it around, both apples look the same. And then she cuts both apples in half, and you can find that the battered apple looks really bad inside. She uses this to illustrate some of the negative effects of bullying in general. And I think that's something we forget in society is that certain kids are constant victims of bullying and it does major damage. This often happens under the radar. Teachers don't realize it's happening. And I've actually apologized to some students for not really understanding their situation. Of course, anything reported to me, I certainly do act upon. But again, under the radar is the key for general bullying. Uh, as far as cyberbullying, there's a couple other problems. First is distance. You don't really have a chance to confront the person in front of you. Um, Basically, people get false bravado over the internet. Uh, you could be anonymous. There's burn books, burn pages, things that are done in total anonymity, which you can't bully face to face that way. Grouping up, group actions, chains of Twitter comments on other students. And I think kids feel especially helpless when they're in the privacy of their own home and bullying still reaches out to them. Uh, I've actually enjoyed this lesson because I did not realize um, how cyberbullying was being addressed by the education community, and I'm actually kind of proud of it. The YouTube video, The 10 Commandments of Technology, was really interesting. It talked about lies, rumors, criminal activities, and some of the consequences of poor net etiquette. I think this is a really interesting trend. In my opinion, teachers have become very much aware of this because they're closest to the student and they see the opportunities and they've accepted the challenge to really address all kinds of bullying, not just cyberbullying. They're really leading the way on this, and I'm actually glad I took this unit. I'm glad to be a part of this. This is something I want to address in my classroom. You know, there is a definite gap or bridge between our generation and the generation of our students. They are digital natives. They are a lot more familiar with the anything goes environment of Twitter, Instagram, and basically the students know the most about technology, but they know the least about the rules of, let's call it, polite society. Um, we teachers know much less than they do, but we get an inkling of it. The problem is the general population, including the adult parents, are basically clueless. As a personal note, I am a stepfather. My two stepdaughters are now in college, but when they were in high school, it was basically MySpace and text messages that I was aware of, and I was basically clueless to other types of cyberbullying. I know cafeteria confrontations were handled by administration very quickly, but it only seems to be recently that any kind of cyberbullying has really been addressed. So thank you for this lesson. My name is Mike Torkos, quick podcast on cyberbullying. Thank you.